Hey guys, guess what? It's Angel. You're watching my latest video, and I want to welcome you if you're new to my channel. I'm glad you found me. I want to say welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. It helps me out a ton. One thing that I do want to say, well, a couple things, um, is that if you haven't yet subscribed, you would really help me out a ton if you would just click on that subscribe button. I'm I have a goal. I'd like to reach 1,000 subscribers, and I'm about just a little over 500 short of that. I haven't had this goal in the past, but it's something that I really would like to do, and it's easy to subscribe. It costs nothing, and it's just would be really helpful. So if you could do that, that would help me out. Second thing is, I'm going to be talking about medication in this video. I know I talked about it in my last video, but it's something really relevant to me right now, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I want to say that I'm not giving any advice. This is just, it's what's happening in my life right now. It's my journey. So this is not advice that I'm giving. Please do not take it that way. This is just what my doctor is doing for me. I am not qualified in any way to give advice to you. So this is just me talking about my journey through my bipolar experience. And it is an experience, if you know what I mean. So I want to talk about medication. So I talked about medication last time, and since then I have experienced or been experiencing a taper on one of my medications, and it didn't go super great. So it's something that I talked to my psychiatrist about in my last session, and it was something that I requested from him. The reason I requested it is that I felt like I was on too many medications, and I felt like I didn't want to be reliant on too many meds. So I requested that I could taper off one of them, which was Topamax. And Topamax, I had originally been prescribed it, and I had requested it because I had heard that it could be used as an appetite suppressant. Now, there's a lot of things that certain meds can be used for. That one can be used for lots of different things, but that was the one that I had requested. Now, again, this is not advice that I am giving. You have to talk to your doctor about each thing that you're prescribed, and your doctor will give you advice and prescribe you whatever they feel like is safe for you and that they can do. So this is just what a psychiatrist had given to me for a specific reason. So I felt like I wanted to go off of this med. So he put me on a taper dose, and I started the taper, and I got through a week of the taper. And I didn't realize it, but I had been having withdrawal symptoms all week. But it was probably the fifth or sixth day that I realized I was having migraines, I was having nausea, I was having fatigue, I was really tired. And I talked to my husband and said, I think I'm having withdrawal symptoms, and I think it's because I'm tapering off of this med. And he said to me, you have been mean and nasty all week. Your mood has been off. And I didn't want to say anything to you because I didn't want to discourage you, but it's been really hard living with you this week. And that's the thing, is like, I have been stable, and it's rocking the boat anytime you mess with your meds when you're stable. And I didn't realize my mood was off. And that's the thing, is I never realize when my mood is off. It's the people around me that get the benefit of realizing and noticing when my mood is off, because they are the ones that bear the brunt of my bad mood. And I never want that to happen. Like, I never want my husband to feel like it is hard living with me. I never want my family or my friends to go through that. But when I'm in that space, that headspace, and I told my husband this, like, I have no control over that. Like, I literally have no control over my mood and what comes out of my mouth and the tone. it just happens and I don't even realize it. And so I apologized to him like over and over, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, and I told him, like, I don't have control over it. I'm so sorry this is happening. And so I called my doctor's office, and of course, he was out for like a couple days. They had a fill in psychiatrist, so they gave him my information, you know, what was going on. And he told me to resume my original dose to stop with the taper. So I did that. And then I felt really super defeated. Like, I got through a week of the taper. Couldn't I have pushed through? Couldn't I have just done it? Like, you know, I just felt really defeated. And then after a couple days of resuming my dose, I felt like back to myself. My husband said things had gotten better, that I, you know, was better, which made me happy because I don't ever want, like I said, I don't ever want him to feel like he can't live with me. And so then I talked to my counselor, and we talked about what had happened with the taper and what had happened with the tension in my marriage. And she asked me why the taper had happened, like, you know, what prompted this. And I told her that I had requested it, and I told her why, that I had felt like I was on too many meds. And she said that it's totally normal for people that deal with mental illness to struggle with the thought of taking medication and being on too many meds and struggling with that. And she said it's a normal thing, but it's also normal for other people that have other ailments, other illnesses, to take lots of meds. And they may struggle with it too, but they have to take their meds, and we have to take our meds. And so we talked about that. And she said, you know, Angel, if you're stable on the meds that you're on, you know, you should stay on it. You shouldn't mess with that. You should just go with what's working for you and just be okay with it. And hearing that from her made me feel better, and it made me realize that she's right. Why would I mess with something that's working? And in my last session with my psychiatrist, towards the end of the session, we talked about some things that I had been experiencing. And this is kind of a little bit off topic, but it'll come back around to what we're talking about. But we had talked about something that I had been experiencing that I had never talked to my psychiatrist in the past about, because I didn't really know that there was a name for it, and I didn't really know that other people had experienced it. And that is intrusive thoughts. And so I brought it up at the end of coming to the end of our session, because I thought that it was kind of important, and it's something that I had been having a lot of. And so he asked me kind of like, what kind of intrusive thoughts? So the things that I experienced, and the one that was really the one that I had experienced recently, like the day before my appointment with him, was, and I hope this does not, like, it's a little bit graphic, I guess, but I'd been driving, and I came up to a stoplight, and the truck in front of me was a flatbed truck. And so I came up behind the flatbed truck, and behind me, another truck came up behind me. And I had this thought of, if that truck doesn't stop and it pushes me, like rear ends me and pushes me into this flatbed truck, like I would be cut in half. And I had the visual like flash in my head of like what that would look like. And it was very graphic and gory, and it just flashed in my mind, and I was just like, ugh. And that's kind of like what my intrusive thoughts are. They kind of surround, or they kind of they deal with like car crashes, accidents that would happen to me or my family, someone in my family. And they are very, very troubling. And so I had talked to him about that. And so then it prompted him to start asking me other questions. It was question after question after question. And it came to the end, which was, Angel, he goes, do you know where I'm going with this? And I said, well, maybe. And he led me down this thing of questions, which made me think, okay, he's going to diagnose me with OCD. And in the past, I had been told by other psychiatrists that I had OCD-like tendencies, but that I didn't have OCD. So he's like, do you know where I'm going with this? And I said, maybe that I have OCD. And he says, not maybe. He said, you definitely have OCD. And so it was at the end of our session, and he said to me, we're going to talk about this again later, but there are some other medications that would be helpful for you, so I may switch things up. And so we ended our conversation, and I thought, oh, I don't know that I have a medication change in me. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And I'd been thinking about that, and I came across this article in Bipolar Hope, and I'm going to link that article below, but it talks about medication changes. And the lady that wrote the article goes into this whole thing about medication changes and how she struggles with it, but how she decided that, it's just something that we go through, and we can't, get frustrated and decide that we're not going to take our meds. We have to take them, and it's just a process that we go through. And sometimes our meds have to get switched up, and there is always, not always, but sometimes, most times, there are, a period where we go through that it's difficult with those medication changes. But in the end, we get to another level of stability, and it's oftentimes better for us once we do go through those changes. And so I just have to think positively and trust that my doctor knows what's best, and that he's going to have those thoughts in mind as he's looking to change up my meds. So that is what I have for you in talking about medication changes. We have to think positively. Sometimes they're going to happen. We just have to know that we have to take our meds. Just like everyone else out there that deals with different ailments, they have to take their meds. We do too. It's just a part of bipolar. It's just a part of depression. It's just a part of anxiety. It's just a part of schizophrenia, or whatever part of the mental illness that you struggle with. It just is a part of it. And we need to just accept it and think positively and move forward. So that's what I have for you. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm feeling well, and I am happy about that, because it's been a rough couple of months back. But feeling well feels good. So best wishes to you, and I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're having a good week, and until we talk again, bye.